Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley and that cocaina. So I got that spicy mood today. Put a little extra hot sauce on these takes as we talk about some life lessons covering through sports and media and listening to those media cats cover people. And we're going to cover them like they cover that. All right, let's get into this situation right here. Kevin Durant's been talking a lot about his legacy, how y'all feel about him, where he is, in terms of his standing, etc. Now that landed somewhere, but with the sports media, there's a different conversation, right? Because you know there's a lot of slights towards Kevin Durant. And usually the slights come from the people who didn't play, and the ones who played have Kevin Durant in a higher esteem. So bouncing off of those comments, we got somebody in the media like JJ Reddick, who wanted to talk about how those comments were received by the fans. And basically, JJ Reddick's like, I got a question to ask these fans. Do y'all really want to be educated or entertained? Listen to JJ Reddick break down some of Kevin Durant's comments and take it to a grander level.
Since when is it players' jobs to educate people on basketball? When did that become a thing? When did that become a thing? Isn't that our job? Isn't that our job?
I'll answer.
I do that as my job. That's my job to educate people on basketball.
I'm letting you speak, and then I'll answer.
It's our job, Stephen A., to educate people on basketball. It's our job. And here's the reality. This is the ecosystem we live in. I can do a video on my podcast. I can do a video on my podcast where I break down the last 9 games the Pelicans have used Zion Williamson as the primary ball handler and what type of actions that has led to. I looked it up this morning. 54,000 views on YouTube. But I want to call out a coach yesterday. Oh, that gets tens of millions of engagements. That's the ecosystem we live in. So do fans actually want to be educated or not? Do they?
That part. I'm a fan of JJ Reddick, big time. He cuts through. He obviously got a big brain, comes at it with a high brow, as they say. And I like the fact that he ain't getting punked by nobody. But what he said, what was so interesting in there, is a couple of things. One, is it our job? The our being media, sports media. Whose job is it? Is it the player's job? You're an active player. Is it my role to just play or play and also perform and also tell you guys, basically purport what I am doing, what I'm up to. Let you guys know the inside from the inside. When the media starts to try to pierce through that veil, like, so what happened on that play? And then they try to say, what happened in that series? What happened during that game? What's going on in your life? You know, JJ is posing that question. More importantly, he's posing the question of, do you even care? And what do you care about in priority? To be educated or to just be entertained? Now, obviously, everybody gonna raise their hand and say, both, fool. I want to be educated and entertained. But that ain't the conversation. The conversation is in priority because you actually choose. Through your viewing habits, through the way you receive sports, the way you receive sports media and talk shows, you actually choose. He brought up a great example. Said he broke down some deep X's and O's game coverage of the Milwaukee Bucks, or no, it was the New Orleans Pelicans, right? And he broke it down, and Zion bringing the ball up. He said 54,000 views. Then he said he just talked about Doc Rivers, called Doc Rivers out. You're not accountable. Tens of millions. It's crazy. We always talk about that on this show. We know how it goes. It's just lower frequencies get higher ratings. That's how the game has gone. And it wasn't always that way. It got rigged, it got hijacked. So we're here now. No one's complaining about it because now you know it. But the reception to when you go deep dive, the reception to when a player is just like, I'm just a pure performer, is the problem. JJ Reddick's like, look, it ain't Kevin Durant's job, it's our job. But then we bleed into Kevin Durant and his performance and make that an obligation. Making an obligation to a player to actually go out there and sell himself. And if he doesn't sell himself, this is the craziest part. You start looking at the player different. Like, he ain't as good. Why? He ain't selling himself. Kevin Durant's maybe a bad example. Why? Because a lot of people just don't like Kevin Durant. He made a cupcake move, etc. Okay, what about Tim Duncan? Everyone likes Tim Duncan. But did Tim Duncan help himself by not selling himself? Absolutely not. Tim Duncan looked like he literally got to the arena right before the game started and left immediately after, right? Not by his performance, but by how he was selling himself. Like, I am not here for no fluff. I am here to do the thing and get up out of here. And if you look at him in legacy, I would say slighted. Despite him being, most people would say top 10, fringe top 10, but top 10. Tim Duncan? Tim Duncan is not in many conversations because it's not a strong selling point. He didn't do his job to sell, so we don't do our part in selling him. It's crazy like that. And then some guys can move up because they talk themselves up into conversations and vice versa. You can talk yourself out of a conversation because of likability, like a Kevin Durant. All this stuff is just hilarious to me. Like, we are really intertwining, tangling up so many different line items when it's not that difficult. It's supposed to be players play, talking heads talk. And y'all talk about what players are doing, what players are performing like. But it's not that. We know that we became the stars, the talking heads, and we also know with that stardom, with that going to our heads, we started to talk more about than what the players were doing. Not a fan of it, but it is the reality. But tell me, are you a fan of it? Because you're choosing with your remote. You're choosing with your clicks. You're choosing with your mouse. People still use mouses? Mice. So the point is, tell me what y'all think about that. Do you want to be educated or, not and, or entertained? And do you feel like if athletes overtake the media space, that will change it for the better or for the worse? Would you rather hear from a talking head or from a former athlete? Yeah, real good questions. Real tough questions in here today. Let's beat it up in the comments, see what's cracking, like, and macking. All right, let's get into this sound right here. Because now, Maxx Crosby, who I just befriended of late, that's my dog. We saw each other at a game, exchanged info, chopped it up ever since. We also got the same agent, which I didn't know that at first. But Maxx Crosby, salute, one of the best in the game. Superstar, too. Like, superstar. Like, he a DN, dog. He be getting love. It's like next level. He's a beast, that's why. Well, let's talk about this. He talked about how he became Maxx Crosby the Great, because he was, at first, Maxx Crosby the Good. But he took that leap. I want y'all to hear from his words how he took that leap.
Honestly, no, in the NFL, it's everybody, like you said, everyone, it's the best of the best.
Yeah.
All the best players in the world. So everyone's got talent. Everyone are freak athletes, like that. But I've said it since day one. Like, after my second year, once I got my life cleaned up, got everything together, and started just going straight Kobe mentality with everything, nutrition, taking care of my body, sleep, training, like just doing everything above and beyond. Like, I literally, every single category, and it's still, you know, I still do it to this day, even at a higher level. But that's what separates the best guys. Everybody's good, but who's going to put in that little extra work every single day in every category? And those are the best players. And I talk to all of them. Like, I go to the Pro Bowl and I just pick people's brains, and all the best guys are the same way. So we talk to each other at a different level, and they could understand it. But there's some dudes who are just freaking natures but never end up reaching that potential because they relied on talent. I didn't rely off talent. I wasn't even a good player in high school. Like, I had to work for it every single day. So now it's like, I'm not like just relying off talent. Like, I'm quick, athletic like that, but I had to build my body up and get to that point. So that's what separates guys. It's just the mindset, bro. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. At greatness in any category is like, how bad do you want it, and how like focused are you on it?
Yeah. I don't know what y'all great at. I don't know what you're great at, and I don't know what you have achieved in greatness. Two different things. What you're great at doesn't mean you have achieved the greatness yet, right? Like, I was fast, but I didn't go to the Olympics. But I did achieve my level of greatness by being great at something. You got something that you know you're great at. Come on, dog. Everybody got something they're great at. You could be an artist, and you could just draw. Whatever it may be. You could be somebody who's great with your words, poetic, whatever it may be. But that doesn't mean you could be a great rapper and have not achieved greatness in rap. So whatever it is, it starts off with you got something great. You got something to build on, a talent base, right? And then from there, and as y'all have heard it in cliche 1,000 times, and Maxx Crosby just broke it down 1,001, this takes over. Mindset, mentality, choices, discipline, dedication. Seriously, like, you're going to be good. Now, you want to be great? You're going to have to give it up and give into it. You're going to have to die for this thing. And that's just the way it goes. So to be extraordinary at it, you just got to do the extra every day. You just got to do the extra every day. I'm raising my kids right now because I found that to be the cheat code. Like the cheat code literally for me, academically and athletically, was every day just a little. Not like most of us do. You know how it is in school. You got a test on Friday. You wait to Thursday to study for it. All night Thursday you up. Tired Friday, take the test. You may ace it. You forget everything that you just damn learned by next week because you crammed it all in there and then it just flushed itself out right after that test, right? You don't have that residual learning capability. You don't have that residual building block of education. You just got learn, take tests, learn something else, right? In and out, short-term memory. I learned it in education first. I was like, oh, wait a minute. All I got to do is study a little every day and I'll be smarter than everybody else because I'm just slowly building this, dripping. So I used to use Transformers. I used to use Dukes of Hazzard. Used to use different strokes. Those were my favorite shows. Can't watch my favorite show till I do 30 minutes of homework every day, at least. Now, there were some days I had to cram. There were some days I had to do a gang. And there were some days I missed. And when I missed, I realized I was off track, off discipline. But my grades, without even really trying, because it don't feel heavy, right? You got to bring in 8 bags of groceries from Buddha Market. If y'all from LA, y'all know Buddha Market, right? 8 bags of groceries. Good luck, the bag may break. You got 8 bags. Most of us try to grab all 8 and just come in once. What happens when you do that? And everybody's experienced it. One of them rips. One of them busts. You drop one all the time. Or two. Now, nobody want to do that, but you ain't dropping nothing. You ain't busting nothing. That's the point. So I learned that athletically as well. Same thing Maxx Crosby said. When I was in the league, I was really good. I was Maxx Crosby. I was second rounder, higher than him, but I was a good player. And I was getting good, really good, great player, top player, like balling out of control. And then I kept getting hurt. Here's the thing. This is not an excuse. This is telling you what injuries do to you. It's not the physical part that you can't recover from. You can. Only one of my injuries physically, I was compromised from that point forward. My abdominal wall tear. I didn't recover from that. Whether it was a bad surgery, bad rehab, or I was just bad after it, I didn't recover from that one. But back surgery, foot surgery, shoulder surgery, every other surgery, I can keep naming them. No problem. But let me tell you what it did mess up. All of them. It disrupted the discipline that I needed to continue to be great. Because here's how it goes. You go into the offseason. Everybody right now, offseason. You saw Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby, if you see him right now, he got a little boot on. He got a little cleanup. That's the time. Because you got to do a little extra every day, right? That's the time that somebody who's comparable to you is using to get ahead of you. When you have to rehab, you got to go back to get yourself and your body right and then go forward. So imagine 2 people in a race at the same pace and one of them continues to go forward while the other one goes back and then goes forward. Without changing anything else, that person is way ahead in terms of lead over somebody who's the same speed just because he had to stop, go back, and restart. So I had to do that 3-4 off seasons in a row. I couldn't start the off season healthy. Now, if you notice some of the good players who continue to get hurt, all of a sudden you see them fall off, right? It's not deep. It's just, this is the importance of discipline, the importance of always being available. Because injuries don't make you available. So if you are of healthy mind, body, spirit right now, your butt need to be doing a little extra every day at the thing you're great at to achieve that greatness. That's it. Cut that clip right there. Give it to every kid you know. Give it to yourself again too. Simple as that. You will be great. People don't believe it. And then that's the problem. You don't believe it, it ain't gonna happen. But I'm telling you, all you gotta do is a little every day at what you're great at, and greatness will come. Simple as that. So what do they say? Overnight success comes years later, right? It takes years to become an overnight success, right? That's how they do it. And if you want to do it, start now and go catch up to it. So I remember those days, and I really feel, it's not a regret because it doesn't keep me up at night. It's just like, damn, it could have been a different course. But with that different course comes different results, different outcomes. One of the things of despair growing up, a lot of people who grew up in despair, the Greek tragedy, got to go through tension, are people who survive that and then thrive because of that. You made it through that fire, shoot, bring it on, right? But we forget how many people got burnt up in that fire. 99% in those dire situations don't make it out. But the ones who survive that thrive from that, and then they use that fire as fuel. Simple as that. I was that way, man. So I'm not regretting all my injuries, but that despair also gave me a different drive to go to sports media, to do what I'm doing right now in terms of philanthropy, being an entrepreneur, etc. So can't change what I've been through, but shoot, it sure would have been good to stay as a top player instead of like roller coaster through it. But 2 years, top 50 player in the NFL. Not everybody could say that. Sometimes you got to smell the flowers. Give yourself some roses. So what do y'all think of Maxx Crosby take? I think it was pretty dope. Are y'all relying on your talent or your mentality? Your talent gets you there, mentality takes you there, right? Simple as that. And you tell me how you think the cheat code works. Do you agree with my way? I mean, it's really science of life. It ain't, I ain't making it up. I'm just regurgitating it. Or do you have a different formula? Put that in the comments. Beat that up. All right, let's talk about this sound right here, because this is going viral, as they say. And it's rare I catch something viral. Like, it's almost on purpose I don't catch viral stuff. Because I almost feel like, you know how when you were young and you go to school and there's somebody doing this, and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's the new dance. That's the WAP or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, okay. And then you go to lunch and everybody doing the WAP. I was always the one like, I ain't gonna do the WAP. Why? Because everybody doing the WAP. I was like, I'm a Cabbage Patch, right? I'm a Cabbage Patch, right? Contrarian could call that. I don't. I'm just like, I'm not really fancy with mob. I'm not really fancy with everything. So this story right here is interesting. So former President Trump, and I don't know where the polls are. They changing every day, but it looks like future President Trump too. We'll see. Put out some sneakers. My boy sent me these like a week or two ago. First thing I saw was the gold, and they look like some superhero sneakers, but they don't look ugly. Now remember, y'all the same ones that clown Triple B, and those Triple Bs that I just got from LeVar Ball about a month ago, I wore them to a sneaker party, and everybody came up to me and said I had the best sneakers on. Those are the same sneakers when I posted them on social, everybody clowned. Which way is up? So with former President Trump, he put out these sneakers, and the sneakers obviously sold out. And more importantly, I saw one guy pay $9,000 for one pair that got him signed, etc. So that, you know, they're going to be collector's item. I don't think you're trying to go to the club in the President Trumps. But the point is, they're out there. Now, politics is a funny game, right? And that's why a lot of people don't want to play it, because what are the rules to politics? That's why a lot of people don't want to be politicians, because they know what happens. You wrestle with pigs when you're trying to be a politician. So this sound right here is lighting the world on fire, because he is talking about those shoes, and he's talking about how those shoes had a direct impact and effect on the black community and the black vote. Listen to this sound about Donald Trump's shoes.
Even the sneaker thing. I was on social media last night. Very interesting. As you see black support eroding from Joe Biden, this is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting?
Okay. You ever hear something and you're like, now that didn't hurt me, but I know that's going to hit somebody, right? Like it missed you, but you're like, that's going to tear somebody up or tear them up. I knew that this wasn't going to go well for brother for saying that. But we got to talk about stereotypes in the midst and context of reality, right? Because I've noticed that stereotypes are like the greatest hypocrisy we have in our world in terms of when a stereotype is true or not. Case in point, my first time dealing with like outside stereotypes, because you know the stereotypes of black people, for me, it was first I'm from Compton, so are you gangster or not? Are your family gangster? I dealt with all that. Then it was like I was getting big and athletic, so I was like, it was weird because I'm like, people assumed I was an athlete, and I was. But that's stereotypical, see a black kid and you think he's athletic. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Your stereotype is true, right? So I felt weird. And that lasted all the way through. My best examples are these when I'm on flights. You know, you're sitting on an airplane, you're sitting there in first class, and it's a pretty girl sitting there too in a row in front of you, and she acting like she don't see you, and then finally you make eye contact. She basically trying to see where your seat is. She in 1B, you in 2A, so y'all right there diagonal, cool. Now, sitting next to me is some old white lady, right? Flight goes on 2 hours. This is my favorite example. It happened many times, but this is one of them. And then the lady just finally, you know, you could feel her. She just beating you. She looking at you. And then she just waiting for that moment you move them headphones, or she could just say something. She's like, excuse me, are you an athlete or something? And I was like, well, it's not something. Yeah, I'm an athlete. Because she's nice and respectful, so I say it like that. Right. All right, so we have our conversation. She's like, oh, and I'm trying not to be too loud because I really don't want old girl over there hearing all this and stuff. And she got her headphones on anyways, right? We break it down. Then, you know, you move on, you go to the bathroom, she go to the bathroom, then it's like, and she right there, so it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then you start talking. And then she's like, oh, so what do you do? And I was like, I play football. You play football? Really? And look you up and down again and go like that. How is it this old lady with cataracts know exactly what I did and came at me right? She's like, you're an athlete or something. I was like, yeah. And then you like so surprised and shocked. I know the game. But the point is, it was a stereotype and it's true. So when people ask me and they're asking me with confidence, they're asking me in a pure way, in a polite way, I always answer yes. But I do feel conflicted because I am a stereotype. But what happens when you hear a stereotype and don't like it? And actually, worse, try to act like it ain't true. To me, that sound landed right there. Come on, my people. Y'all know we like shoes. It's okay. Max Kellerman and I used to have these conversations on the air. One of the reasons people love our show is because he's white, Jewish, I'm black. And we could talk about those things that a lot of people don't want to talk about because both of us weren't scared. I think our intelligence, our experience made us, and we had a lot of things in common. So we would go there, not go to it, go there on these conversations. And one of them we had, it was so funny. And tell me black people especially, is this funny to y'all? I got y'all white people too. I got y'all on one. He was like, dog, when you go to Popeyes, do you ever feel a little weird when you go up there and order that 80 piece? I was like, dog, I be going to, when you eat chicken, dog, don't go to a barbecue, eat chicken and watermelon. You eating it because you like it. And he used to crack me up because he used to say, dog, it's so stupid. And it's so stupid, you feel bad about something that's good. Some stereotypes, whatever they are, so what? They're good. Like, I do like chicken, don't you? I like watermelon, don't you? I like being a professional athlete. You don't, because you're not. But the point is, if you were, and then this is the craziest thing. I understand why stereotypes can be harmful, can be, is because they could sound like that's all you could be. That's all you are. All you like is chicken, or all you are is an athlete. But the whole assumption is silly. I stereotype. When I see somebody over 6'10" and they got one muscle on them, I immediately think if they're young enough, they play basketball. I do it all the time. And sometimes, one time it was a UPS dude. One time it was some delivery dude. I was like, you play basketball? He was like, no. And you could tell when they that tall or they look that part and they ain't that part, it hit them somewhere, right? And I ain't trying to come at them like that, but God dang, dog, you don't play ball? So what do y'all do with stereotypes? It's cracking me up, right? So when he said this sound, I know people hate hearing what someone is doing, but it's being done. Catch yourself, catch other people when they hate hearing what's actually being done. Go back to the 80s, targeted marketing with shoes. Nike and Jordan and Converse and Magic and Intentional. We get them, we get the inner city. We intentionally go to the inner cities. We intentionally go to black people. We intentionally, like the demographics of this all was always targeted. Okay, and we ate it up. And we weren't alone, right? I think kids love sneakers, black kids especially. And I know that because I grew up in an all-black neighborhood and I didn't love sneakers. Because in part, I didn't have enough money to get sneakers. I could get a pair of shoes, but I couldn't get sneakers. So, like anything, if you can't get it, you can't afford it, you start finding reasons not to like it. So I didn't like sneakers like that. Why? I ain't have it like that. Get to the league, I love sneakers. You know why? Because they were giving them to me for free. Isn't it crazy? So, when you're stereotyping, I'm like, dog, y'all love shoes. You know how many times my boy used to bore me with, those are the 13s. No, those are the 11s. No, those are the special editions Space Jam 3s. I'm like, what? Give a damn. Like, dog, what's the capital of Kansas? I'm like, that's what I'm trying to learn right now. You over here talking about 13s and stuff. I was like, all right, we different, right? So when he said this, I think the most damning part was the fact that he said it will have a play with the vote of black people. I think people were like, hey, come on, dog. We like shoes, but you think getting shoes is gonna get our vote? That's a conversation in itself, because didn't Joe Biden just get our vote because he grabbed Kamala? Said, don't say much, just be black. Didn't Joe Biden get your vote and said, if you don't vote for me, Charlemagne and others, you ain't black? So by that standard of it doesn't take much to get your vote, people, black people, what did he say that was so wrong? It's lighting up the internet. I'm waiting to hear it. Because if you call me something I am, even if it feels like hey, you boxed me in, I'm like, you're right. Now let's talk from that basis of truth. Let's talk about that. I don't know if he's did some deep research on social media and saw the black vote turn. Because first of all, y'all lie about y'all votes. You know, if you're a Trump supporter, you don't say it out loud. If you're a Biden supporter, right now you're whispering too. People don't tell you. That's the whole beauty of the system. You ain't got to say what you're voting for. Just go in there and vote and come up out of there, right? But vote. So I look at this situation as one great big insecurity that right now this is targeted on black people, but I remember going to Colombia. This is the first time I really had a full experience with a lot of white people. As I told you, first time I met Dominicans, first time I met Puerto Ricans, all at Colombia, being in New York City. I never, when I say never, I never met a Dominican until I was 18 at Colombia. And I told you the story when the guy was darker than me, speaking fluent Spanish, fluent. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, he's Dominican. Damn, that's dope. I remember everybody, the first time I went to the cafeteria at Columbia, and people were clowning me for this. And I wanted like pancakes, eggs, bacon. And I was looking. And I literally said this out of my mouth. What's that big ass biscuit with a hole in it? I didn't know. I'd never in my life seen a bagel. And they were like, what? That's a bagel. And they were like, that's what Jewish people eat. And I was like, Jewish people? I hadn't met a Jewish person either. I was like, oh, let you know, man. Where the sign at? Compton to Columbia? God, dog. It looks close in those words. It was far in terms of my social distance. So learned a lot. But stereotypes, man, I wanted to see what y'all think about it and what y'all think about what he said. And are y'all sensitive to stereotypes? I think every single stereotype has more than an ounce of truth. Like, it's largely true. You just don't like hearing it. But why? We need to just get rid of that. Like, okay, I'm not boxing you in, but let's just say I think you like this, right? Is there harm in stereotypes? Is there some beauty in stereotypes? Beat that up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. And you think what he said was inappropriate, out of bounds, or they say in comedy, never say the bullseye. Never hit the bullseye, because it's not funny. If you see a fat girl in the audience, don't call her a fat girl. Call her scale challenged. Call her anything but fat. Because if you call fat, it ain't funny. You hit a bullseye, it ain't funny. Let me know what y'all think. Beat it up in the comments. All right, y'all. Coming up next on Never Shut Up. You know how we do. We funk up some comments, hit you with the Wileyism. Next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV. Brinks and Reach TV. Well, y'all gonna be mad at me. Oh well. Oh well. Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley. Welcome back, I should say. Man, I feel like we just started, but we're almost done right now. But make sure you log on to projecttransition.org. Support the itty bitties in the community. All these things we discussed right here. We got to give it back to the itty bitties so they can get over the hurdles even faster than we did. Projecttransition.org. We got our new reimagined website. It's all pretty and glossy. Check it out. It's love for it. All right, what else we got? Brinks TV. Got to go to Brinks TV, Brinks.tv. You see me looking crispy on there. 1,000 free Brinks bucks for all of y'all who log on and get a free account. And guess what we do? We pay y'all to watch TV. How do we do that? Because we're brilliant. Nah, because it's Brinks. That's what we do on Brinks. Also go to WileyWins.com and you can check out what I'm betting on. Clippers. That's it. Clippers all the way. Let's funk up some comments. Yeah. NIL. Let's talk about that again. NCAA football coaches are bitter about the NIL because they cannot speak to players militarily anymore. Yup. Yet corporately. It's a shift in power dynamics. That's what I said. Now coaches have to get players to buy into team's culture coupled with stroking players' egos. Yep. To see players wearing Rolexes and driving Lambos is tough for old school coaches as well. I love it for the players, the revenue drivers, but I expect the NIL and transfer portal to change within 2 to 3 years. Yep, back into colleges and coaches' favor. Favor. It won't go back into their favor because the cat's out the bag. And if you ever seen a cat out the bag and try to put it back, you ever try to put a cat in the corner, you're going to know you've been in a fight, and it ain't going to happen. So what's going to happen is everyone's going to have to adjust to the Wild Wild West is going to be just now the new norm. Players are going to continue to make more and more money because more and more people are going to dive into NIL space. It's not just going to be the collectives. It's not just going to be the universities and what their infrastructure is, right? I could foresee a more structured program for brands and sponsors to plug in. that laces the universities and builds itself into these players. Because right now it's like players are getting, they're attracting the brands. I got DraftKings or whatever, not DraftKings. I got Apple, I got Allo, I got these people plugging into me. What happens when they plug into the university on a scalable, higher level? That's more money. Now, the institutions may want to try to control that, and then that may seem like less money to the players in percentages, but greater money in terms of net profits, net revenue. That's how the NBA is ran. That's how the NFL is. All right, plug into the league, and then we're going to get a lot more from it. Versus, go get it on yourself. Right now, the players got to get it themselves. And then the institutions say, yeah, we got this for you, but what else is for you? It's not neatly packaged just yet. I think it's going to get neater in packaging, which is going to be more profitable for the players. But then also the institution, coaches, et cetera, will make more as well. So like anything, the gap's still going to be there, but it's just going to get higher and higher as we keep that gap going. Pretty dope. Let's talk about this. I skipped one. No, I didn't. Why are you putting down the Big Ten? When has Columbia ever been a football powerhouse, even in the Ivy League? This from the same dude that says hip-hop is the #1 music genre when it's not. Ain't no hip-hop artist as big as Taylor Swift or Beyonce's new country music song, LOL. I love when people swing and miss, not because you can't swing, it's because I ain't here to get hit. Well, I tell y'all, if anybody ever swings on me in real life and it ain't a sucker punch, they gonna laugh. Everybody gonna laugh with them because you ain't gonna hit me. I'm a whoa. And then I'm gonna talk to you. And that's gonna be more embarrassing than me knocking your ass out. Because I can easily knock you out, but what's the point? Let's say this. I didn't put down the Big Ten. I said UCLA gonna struggle in the Big Ten. Is that putting down the Big Ten or actually propping them up? You gotta listen to what I said. Second of all, Columbia has never been a football powerhouse. That's why last night I went to dinner with a Columbia alum who's a former trustee of the university, who's a billionaire, who literally introduces me every time as the greatest football player in Columbia football history. And I want to challenge that, but I feel good when I hear it. I ain't go to a great school for football. Duh. Like, what do you mean? Doesn't mean I couldn't. Don't mean I couldn't been in the Big 10 or whatever the hell, Big 12 or whatever. But I didn't. So I don't know if you're trying to come at me real popular, real tough, Papa. And hip hop is the #1 music genre. That doesn't mean it has the biggest star, but Drake is not as big as Taylor Swift and Beyonce. No, but he ain't far behind. Let's say that. But the genre is not individual, and that's not a good test. That's not a good litmus test. Oh, they got a bigger star. You know that teams have better players. Like the MVP of the NFL was Lamar Jackson. Was he the champion? No. The biggest genre is hip hop. Do they have the MVP? No. Rock does. Pop does. R&B does, etc. You get it? Don't swing at me like that, dog. I don't like that. All right, here we go. Many moons ago, Jay Billis tried to warn the NCAA that they couldn't keep getting away with not paying players, and now here we are. All we needed to do was look at the landscape. Coaches, ADs, administrators were all benefiting, even the NFL, as college football is a pseudo minor league system. They benefit too. Yes, I've continued to say this. The top 10 outdoor stadiums in the world in terms of seating capacity, 8 of the 10 are college football stadiums. That's dope. And they are full to capacity 8 Saturdays a year, while the players looked and saw they got none of that. NIL transfer portal, the lock said money, power, respect. Now it's money, power, and choice for the players. Great comment. You ain't lying. Them players know. I mean, it ain't that deep. Everybody making money but me? All right. Sooner or later, you're going to wake up. And then you know how it is when you first wake up. Got to adjust your eyes. Then you got to shake it off. Then you got to get out of bed, and you still ain't warmed up to the day. That's where these players are right now. This NIL is them just getting out the bed. They ain't ready to run yet, but they about to start running. They about to heat up. Let's get to my guy, Corey Holcomb, my dog. Corey Holcomb is my favorite comedian as well. They be shouting you out on the 5150 show here and there. The way Darlene used to talk about you, I thought y'all were dating, LOL. It would be a cool sight if you were to go on the 5150 show one time. Yeah, like I said, I know Corey forever, known Darlene maybe even longer or at the same time. I heard one time they shouted me out. I was dying laughing. But yeah, man, they just the homies, like LA Love, you know what I mean? So shout out to them. They are killing it. Corey Holcomb and Darlene, they are killing it. Killing it. It's just funny. Like I should have known. He's so raw and funny and real. Like y'all, no other comedian that I know, Eddie Griffin is in that same vein. But the D-Ray, but like in Corey by himself, dog, he just don't, he don't care. And that's what's the best part. Cause I'm like, that's a pure, true comedian. Stop caring. Like you could be a different type of comedian, but he don't call the dogs off. When it's funny, it's just funny. Oh man. KC shooting. Ooh, not gonna do that. That's a book. All right, love for you guys out there, man. All right, we finish every show with a Wileyism. Yeah. What's the Wileyism today? Can't have a testimony without a test. Yes, I love that. Somebody hit me with that, trying to coach me through one of my storms. They say you can't have a testimony without a test. Obviously, test in the beginning of the word testimony. You got to go through some things. Everybody wants to say what they learned, what they experienced, and how wise they are, and how their character is built. But nobody raises their hand to go through that process to do that. Well, that's what the test is. The test is going to give you that testimony. So let's not waste our answers on the test, right? Let's learn from those questions asked on the test. Everything that I've been through that is not flattering, when I stop, think, go inside myself, dialogue, counsel myself, better days are ahead. Now, there's been sometimes I've been, I really believe you get stuck on a level like an elevator with life lessons. And if you can't pass that level, that's what in that scope, in that lane, you're going to stay there emotionally. You're going to stay there in terms of your maturity. You're going to always have that challenge. And none of us are perfect, so none of our elevators are all at the top. But you can ascend when you pass that life lessons. You get the discipline to avoid that or to actually go through that and not get stuck and stumble upon the same things, right? You don't get tripped up the same. Oh, man. So it's a lot of stuff come my way, and I'm so like secure and confident that if I take the proper approach, which is a deep belief in myself, faith, that's why there's so much scripture out there, wise words that is faith-based. It's you plugging it into your inner power, into your own God that is made in you. And that's where your superpowers are, and you'll persevere through it. As I told you guys, I was watching Roland Fryer yesterday, or 2 days ago, and he had to go through some unflattering times. And obviously he came out of those better than ever. And it's crazy because you don't see always the light at the end of the tunnel. But does that stop you from walking? You don't see it. It's dark. What do they say? It's light at the end of the tunnel. What's at the beginning of the tunnel? It's dark. But you got to walk, right? So I love the fact that we all try to find different ways or say it different. And it's all the same things. Like a lot of this coding is just the same thing. Believe, go inside yourself, be your own best friend, because you're certainly your own worst enemy. Make sure you get out your own way. And what you're great at, apply yourself on the daily for that greatness to accrue. So love for you guys out there, man, especially y'all who going through a struggle, going through a storm. But remember, can't have a testimony without a test. That'll do it for today's episode of Never Shut Up. Was I going to cry at the end? Love you guys, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I ain't tripping. Have a great day. I know I will. Trying to do some pickleball. I ain't got enough time. Damn it. Too much going on.
Stage a lot faster. Oh, I'm so honored. I'm so inspired to be here, and thanks Shine Global for this award, to be recognized for doing the right thing, to be recognized for doing good things, and trying to inspire others. for their own greatness. I'm just a kid from Compton who, at an early age, had to look inside to find my opportunities, because on the outside, there were so many whispers and sometimes yells of I couldn't make my dreams a reality. And thought that was very unfortunate, but I was thankful that I never internalized that chorus that was around me. I was a kid that understood that you had to be greater than your greatest excuse. And I had a lot of excuses. I had a lot of reasons to have self-doubt. But I was able to develop my inner power, discover that inner power, and make sure that I showed the world exactly who I wanted to be. And it was really simple for me. It was to make my dreams a reality. There was nothing more to it. And as I now stand here, just a few miles from where I grew up, where that adversity still is strong, and as we see through these movies, that it's worldwide, not just in our locale. You see the suffering, you see the gangs, you see the drugs, you see the poverty. And there's always one common escape. It's that inner power, it's that ambition. It's having a voice that's louder than those surrounding voices. And I'm on a mission, a global mission, to make sure that that inner power inspires all to not only give, but to receive the blessings that come from giving. And I'm up here right now as a guy who's challenging everyone to give their 3 T's. That's time, that's talent, and that's treasure. Human capital, financial, whatever it may be. Let's invest in each other, because we all have to coexist here together. And as I look around and I have a foundation that really inspires these kids to become their greatest version of themselves, and to look in the mirror to make sure that they're greater than their greatest excuse. It gives me my greatest passion. I was a kid who wanted to be a school teacher, but because of my height, weight, and speed, I became a football player. So I took that helicopter ride up as high as I could, but as I was ascending, I never forgot that I was once one of those fork-in-the-road kids who was shot at many times, who had to navigate around adversity every single day, who had to waste so much of his brain power just trying to get home every day. And so many experiences that sometimes you become desensitized to. But in reality, that is someone else's reality. So I'm so thankful to stand in front of all of you guys as an example of the kids that we're trying to affect, the underserved, the underprivileged, those who are told that their hardships are greater than who they are. But hopefully we can inspire them all to look inward, because everything they want out there is already in here. Appreciate you guys.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right. Get a 125% sign-up bonus, and to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we're giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.